Imagine you're watching a movie about a superhero who begins his journey as a weak and defeated individual, but thanks to an unexpected event, he gains immense power, becoming stronger than everyone around him. This story isn't limited to movies. In fact, this is exactly what happened to the country of Singapore. Singapore was once considered a small, insignificant island, a barren land with no resources or assets. It was seen as useless, with its population barely having enough to eat. Initially a colony, Singapore later joined Malaysia, but shortly after, Malaysia disowned it due to several issues, the most prominent being that it was considered a hopeless land easy to abandon. Despite the harsh circumstances, Singapore's people did not surrender to reality, but instead sought change. After separating from Malaysia, political elites emerged, raising the challenge to alter the status quo, no matter the cost, to save the country. Yes, in this video, I will briefly tell you the success story of Singapore after a long journey of struggle. In the heart of Southeast Asia, where the Indian Ocean meets the South China Sea, lies Singapore, a small nation that carries an inspiring story. This tiny island transformed from its critical state into one of the greatest modern nations. Singapore was a British colony in the mid-20th century, suffering from extreme poverty, widespread epidemics, and ignorance. Life in Singapore was unbearable, filled with hardships. Slums filled the city, living conditions were harsh, infrastructure was weak, and the economy was fragile, relying solely on traditional trade with no real investments. There was complete neglect of human capital, and diseases were increasing. All indicators pointed to a bleak future in the region. By 1963, a significant change occurred when Singapore joined the Federation of Malaysia, but this alliance did not last long. In 1965, political disagreements led to Singapore's separation from Malaysia, making it an independent state, adding yet another crisis to its growing list. The separation from Malaysia was a major shock for Singaporeans, as everyone realized that Singapore's future was now at stake. Lacking natural resources and without a clear plan, Singapore, with its ethnic diversity, faced an additional challenge of creating a plan that ensured stability and unity. But amid this chaos and these challenges, a man emerged who would change the course of the country 180 degrees. This man, who is credited with the country's prosperity, was named Lee Kuan Yew, a visionary and inspiring leader.
Mr. Prime Minister, after these momentous pronouncements,
and I'd like to add one. You see, this is the whole of my adult life.
Lee Kuan Yew knew very well that Singapore's survival depended on making bold decisions. The first of these decisions was a revolution against corruption, eradicating it, promoting discipline among the people, fostering a love for work, and creating a flexible investment environment to attract foreign investors to the country. Lee Kuan Yew also understood that education was the key to changing everything, so he established a meticulous educational system that focused on developing the skills needed for the labor market, while promoting critical thinking and creativity. All of this was part of the most important factor in the rise of any nation: investing in people. This factor became the decisive turning point that put Singapore on its path toward progress and development. The journey of transformation in Singapore continued under the leadership of the inspirational Lee Kuan Yew toward the top. Lee ruled for 30 years, during which he managed to transform Singapore from a hopeless nation into a developed country, placing it among the first world nations. Just remember, it took only one generation. Over time, the visionary leader stepped down, succeeded by new leaders who followed in his footsteps, maintaining his vision while adapting to global changes. Today, Singapore is not just an advanced nation, but competes for top rankings to ensure prosperity for its citizens. The wise vision of Singapore's leadership and the implementation of a well-thought-out plan based on education and infrastructure development led to the construction of modern ports, world-class roads, and transportation networks, making Singapore a global trade hub and a model to follow. Singapore's journey to success didn't stop at education and infrastructure alone. It also included the application of prudent economic policies that made it a preferred destination for investors worldwide, especially given its strategic geographical location. As its economy transitioned from industry to services, Singapore's economic power grew significantly, with financial services, trade, and tourism becoming integral parts of its GDP. From here, the world began to look at Singapore with admiration and respect. Its passport became one of the strongest in the world, reflecting its prestigious international standing and commitment to its citizens' welfare. The strength of the Singaporean passport didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of strong diplomatic relations and an excellent international reputation, making Singapore a trusted partner on the global stage. Today, Singapore is a symbol of luxury and progress. Its people enjoy some of the highest income levels globally, top-quality healthcare, and exceptional security. Its advanced infrastructure ensures them a life filled with opportunities and services. Despite this success, Singapore has not forgotten the importance of environmental sustainability and cybersecurity, reflecting its dedication to protecting its future and ensuring continued progress. Indeed, the story of Singapore is not just about economic transformation. It is an inspiring lesson for all nations striving for change and advancement. From the heart of hardship and challenges, Singapore was able to create a prosperous future for its people, despite initial odds suggesting otherwise. It achieved this through a strategy centered on education, investment, and good governance. The experience of Singapore inspires us all to believe that determination and clear vision can turn any challenge into an opportunity, and that miracles can be achieved when there is strong will, wise leadership, and an ambitious people. My dear friends, we have reached the end of the video. I hope you benefited from this video, even a little, and were convinced that nothing is impossible in the face of iron will. If you have suggestions for the next video's topic, leave them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and like. See you later.